Very good morning. Very nice to see you all again for the same video about the Python. In the previous video, we have been discussing about the OOPS concepts, the object-oriented programming concepts, how that can be applied in Python. So the different features that we have in object-oriented programming are abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance. So these are all some important features that makes the programming, that has taken the programming from lower level of programming to high level programming. And in this video, we are going to see about the one feature, the one important feature of this OOPS programming, that is inheritance. So before we go to this video, let me explain what is inheritance. For your simple understanding, I can give you a live example. Yeah, in our culture, we have a formal way of formulating or following our ancestors and the successors and deceasses. Yeah, the properties that has been held by your parents will belong to us. What are the properties, what are the household articles and the properties that our parents have, everything can be taken over by the children after their lifetime. Yeah, so that is what we call as an inheritance. We are inheriting the certain properties of our parents to us after our lifetime. And if we have some more properties after their lifetime, and the properties which we hold now can be taken over by our children, that is what we call as the successors of our predecessor ancestral life. And this is what we call as the lineage of a human being. And this is a live example for which we can understand what is inheritance. We are inheriting the properties of our fathers, grandfathers, and great grandfathers, and this is how it's been followed in every customs. And in this video, we are going to see how this inheritance is applicable in Python programming. Yeah, let's dive into the programming. Okay, see, already we have seen about the class and objects. So how the class can be created and how the object can be created for a class, and the properties of that class, the methods that has been defined in every class can be used with the help of creating objects. Fine. So let's have a simple example. So I'm defining a class employee EMP. Okay, yeah. So this is an employee class. You can define anything. So I can have the function one. So this is my first function. So in this function, I'm printing the name of an employee. So what is the name of an employee? My name is Krish. Okay. So this is my first function which defines. And I can also have n number of definitions, n number of functions in a class. So I'm going to have one more. I'm defining another function. I'm sorry. It's okay. D. Yeah. Okay, so I'm having another function, and through which I'm printing my name is Krish, and I'm going to say good morning Krish. Okay, good morning Krish. So this is the function which I've written. Yeah, sorry. Right. Okay, now I have created a class. So I'm going to create an object for the class. So how that object can be created? Yeah, normally what I can do is E1. So I'm creating an object E1 equal to the for what? The class EMP. So with this object, I can access the functions or functions that has been defined in the class. Functions defined in the class. So I can print the same as well. I have two functions here, and you can rename the second function. That is very important. Okay, so again I'm calling the function 2. Yes, so now let's see the output. Yeah, here, look here. So this is my output. My name is Krish and good morning Krish. So that is what we have done. Okay, so this is how we have created this is how we normally create a class, and object can be created for the class. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going to create another function, another class named emp1. Okay, and so it's not necessary, this is more than enough. emp1, and in this I'm going to define same, let's have the same function. Okay, and rename it as function 4, and my name is instead of Krish, I'm changing it Sham. Yeah, so this is how I'm writing a second function, and now I'm going to create a method for this. Create an object for this emp1, for this class emp1. Done. Okay, so now what I'm doing is, look here, I'm going to call this function e2 dot, yes, can you see that it lists the different functions defined in emp1. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm calling this function. Fine, so let me run this. You can see the code. Yeah, here my name is Sham. So this is how we can create an object and the function can be called from the separate class. So now what I'm going to explain here is how the inheritance can be applied here. So here let's consider this as a parent class, emp is a parent class, and emp1 is a child class. What we are going to do is, these are all the two properties defined in the parent class. Function 1 and function 2 are the two methods defined in the parent class emp, which I'm going to inherit to my child class emp1. So how it can be inherited? That's very simple, Look here. So what I'm doing is I'm just calling the name of my parent class. Alright. So this is more than enough. So this meaning is this employee1 is inheriting the class emp. So what is the object which are defined for employee1? E2. So look here now. When I call this object, yes, can you see that list? So all the function 3 and 4 are the functions belong to the child class emp1, and after inheritance I have accessed the function 1 and function 2 which belong to the super class. That is what the parent class emp. So this is how we can access the functions of a parent class. This is what we call as an inheritance. Okay, yeah. So now if I want to print something with the object e2, so let me take away these two things. So with e2 and function 1, so it is possible for me to access the same. Let me check out the output. Look here, my name is Sham. Okay, so which is taken from the subclass my name is Sham, and after inheritance I'm calling the function which belong to the superclass, that is the parent class emp. So where you can see my name is Krish. So both things can be accessed. So this is what we call as the inheritance. The inheriting the properties of a parent class to a child class, or inheriting the properties of a superclass to a subclass. Parent class and superclass are one and the same, and child class and the subclass are one and the same. So don't get confused. Fine. So this is normal inheritance. And let me show you the next level. We have different types of inheritance that is applicable in what the object-oriented programming. So I'm defining another class 2, emp2. Okay, so it's not necessary. So let me define with a function. So I can have any function. Yes. So that's okay. So I'm renaming it as Shanmugam. Shanmuga. All right. So I'm renaming it as Shanmuga, and the name of the function is 5. I have renamed it. Okay. So what I'm doing is here what I'm doing is I'm doing some inheritance. I'm going to access the functions or the methods of the emp1 and emp. So how it can be done? So it's so simple. So I'm doing emp1. Okay, so what I'm doing here is the employee2 is a subclass which inherits another subclass emp1, and emp1 which inherits the parent class emp. Such a way the class emp2 can access the different functions that has been defined in the parent class. So with this, let me explain with a live example. emp3, e3 is an object which I'm creating for the third class emp2. So I have created it. Okay, so when I call the object, can you see here? So I have defined only one function in the third class emp2, whereby which what I'm doing, by inheriting the emp1 and emp, I can access all the functions that has been defined in different classes. Say function 1 and 2, it is possible for me to access function 1 and 2 defined in my parent class, and function 3 and 4 defined in the parent class emp1. and the function phi that is defined in my own class. So this is a second way of inheritance, and this is called the multi-level inheritance. I am inheriting the level 1 properties of EMP to level 2 properties of EMP1 and level 3 of class EMP2, and this is what we call as the multi-level inheritance. Yeah, so it will also work here for us, the function 2. Okay, so I'm calling the function 2 which belong to my super class EMP. Good morning, Krish. So this is how we can inherit the classes or the properties of a class in different levels, level 1, 2 and 3. Fine. And next we are going to see another way of inheritance. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm doing is here I'm modifying the same code. So I'm not inheriting. I'm not. So here in this case, the class EMP and class EMP1 are separate. They are two individual classes. I'm not inheriting the EMP to EMP1. So what I'm going to do here is, but I have defined a class 3 EMP2, but I want this class EMP2 to have the definitions, have the properties of the class EMP and class EMP1. Okay, fine. So let me show you here. Yes, when I call the function, I mean the method defined for the second class E2. Look here, when I call E2 dot, it will have only the functions defined in its class, so that alone will be accessed. Whereas for E1, you can see the function 1 and 2, so there is no link, there is no inheritance that is being applied between the classes EMP and EMP1. And such same way for the class 3 also, EMP3. So what I'm doing is the EMP2 is already inherited this EMP1. So such a way it can access the function 3, function 4 and the function 5. So these are all the three functions that the third class EMP2 can access. But what I'm going to do now is this third class EMP2 want to access the function 1 and function 2 defined in the class EMP. So how I'm going to do is, so look here, it's very simple. EMP, comma, done. Yes. So now you see I have the permission to access the function 1 and 2 that is defined in the class EMP. So this is another way of inheriting the classes E3 dot fun1. So let me show you the output, the fun1. Yes. Yes, of course, here it is a problem with this. Okay, let's delete this. Okay. Yes, can you understand? So E3 is an object created for the class EMP2, and we just inherited the two different classes, two individual classes. Such a way, it is possible for the class 3 EMP2 to access the methods defined in classes EMP1 and EMP. And this type of inheritance is called multiple inheritance. In the previous case, we have seen the multi-level inheritance, and here we are inheriting the methods defined in two different separate classes, and this is called the multiple inheritance. Okay, that's all about the inheritance concept and different types of inheritance that can be applied in Python. In the next video, we'll see some more the possible examples for explaining this inheritance. Thank you. See you again in the next video.